My girlfriend of 5 years broke up with me, claiming she needed to see what else was out there before we got too serious. Then she came crawling back 6 months later when her adventures didn't work out. So, I showed her exactly what she had lost. I'm writing this story because I need to share what happened to me over the past year. Honestly, I'm still amazed at how everything unfolded. My name is Ryan, I'm 28 years old. Until about 8 months ago, I thought I was in the most solid relationship of my life. I had been dating my girlfriend, Emma, for 5 years, and we had been living together for the past 2 years in a beautiful apartment that we had spent months finding and decorating. Emma and I met during our senior year of college at a mutual friend's party. She was studying marketing, while I was finishing my degree in computer science. We clicked immediately. We had the same sense of humor, shared similar values about family and relationships, and genuinely enjoyed spending time together. After graduation, we both found jobs in the same city and decided to give long-term dating a real shot. The first 3 years of our relationship were honestly pretty amazing. We traveled together, met each other's families, and started talking seriously about our future. Emma would often bring up marriage and kids, and we would spend hours planning what our life would look like in 5 or 10 years. She talked about wanting a wedding in her hometown, how many children she wanted, and even what we would name our future kids. I was completely on board with all of these plans. Emma was smart, funny, beautiful, and ambitious. She had landed a great job at a marketing firm and was quickly moving up the ladder. I was working as a software developer at a tech startup that was doing really well, and I was getting promoted regularly. We seemed like the perfect couple who had their lives figured out. The shift. About 2 years ago, we decided to move in together. We found this great 2-bedroom apartment in a trendy neighborhood, and we were both excited about taking that next step in our relationship. Emma was the one who suggested living together, saying that she wanted to see how we functioned as a domestic team before we got engaged. Living together was mostly wonderful. We fell into easy routines, split household responsibilities fairly, and enjoyed having our own space to host friends and family. Emma was an excellent cook, and I handled most of the cleaning and maintenance tasks. We rarely fought about anything serious, and when we did have disagreements, we were usually able to talk through them pretty quickly. The only thing that occasionally bothered me was that Emma sometimes seemed restless or distracted. She would make comments about how some of her single friends were having exciting adventures and dating interesting people. She would wonder aloud about what it would be like to travel solo or live in different cities. I always assumed these were just normal thoughts that everyone in long-term relationships had. About a year ago, Emma started bringing up the topic of marriage more frequently. She would point out engagement rings when we were shopping, send me links to wedding venues, and make comments about how several of her friends were getting engaged. I was definitely thinking about proposing, but I wanted to make sure we were both financially ready for a wedding and that my career was stable enough to support starting a family. I had actually started shopping for engagement rings and was planning to propose during a vacation we had booked for the following spring. I wanted everything to be perfect, and I was working extra hours to save up for the ring Emma deserved and the kind of proposal she had always talked about wanting. The breaking point. Around 6 months ago, Emma's behavior started changing in subtle ways. She became more critical of our routine and would comment on how predictable our relationship had become. She started going out with her single friends more often and would come home talking about all the exciting people they had met and the adventures they were having. She also started making comments about how we had been together since we were so young and how maybe we hadn't experienced enough of life before settling down. She would say things like, "Don't you ever wonder what it would be like to date other people?" Or sometimes I feel like we became serious so quickly that we never really got to explore who we are as individuals. These comments made me uncomfortable, but when I tried to talk to Emma about them, she would say she was just thinking out loud and that she wasn't unhappy with our relationship. She would reassure me that she loved me and that she was just having normal thoughts that everyone in long-term relationships experienced. Looking back, I should have recognized these comments as warning signs. But I was so confident in our relationship that I assumed they were just temporary feelings that would pass. Emma and I had built such a solid foundation together that I couldn't imagine her actually wanting to throw it all away to chase after some fantasy of single life. The breaking point came on a Friday evening in March. Emma had been out with her friends, and when she came home around midnight, she seemed different. She was quiet and distant, and when I asked her how her night was, she gave me vague answers and said she was tired. The next morning, Emma told me that we needed to talk. She sat me down at our kitchen table, the same table where we had planned so many aspects of our future together, and told me that she had been doing a lot of thinking about our relationship and her life in general. She said that while she loved me and valued what we had built together, she was feeling like she had never really gotten the chance to explore who she was as an independent person. She explained that we had gotten together when we were so young that she felt like she had gone straight from being a college student to being in a serious, committed relationship without ever experiencing life on her own. Emma told me that she had been talking to her friends and realized that she had missed out on a lot of experiences that most people have in their 20s. She said that she had never really dated around, never lived alone, never traveled by herself, and never had the freedom to make spontaneous decisions without considering how they would affect our relationship. At first, I thought she was suggesting that we take a break or maybe that she wanted some more independence within our relationship. I told her that I was open to giving her more space and that we could work together to make sure she felt fulfilled and free to pursue her individual interests. But then Emma said the words that completely shattered my world. "I think I need to break up with you so I can see what else is out there before I settle down for good." I just stared at her in complete shock. I asked her if she was seriously throwing away 5 years of our life together and all of our future plans just to see what dating other people was like. I reminded her of all the conversations we had had about marriage and children and the life we were building together. Emma started crying and said that this was the hardest decision she had ever made, but that she felt like she would always wonder what if she didn't take this opportunity to explore other options. She said that she owed it to both of us to make sure that I was really the person she wanted to spend her life with, and that the only way to know for sure was to experience life without me. She told me that she hoped we could eventually get back together, but that she needed to know that she was choosing me because I was truly the best match for her, not just because I was the only serious relationship she had ever had. She said that if we were really meant to be together, then taking a break to explore other options would ultimately make our relationship stronger. I was devastated and furious. I told Emma that her logic was completely insane. If she was happy with our relationship and loved me, then there was no reason to throw it all away just to satisfy some curiosity about other people. I said that real love meant choosing your partner every day, not constantly wondering if someone better might be out there. Emma kept insisting that she wasn't looking for someone better, but that she needed to experience life as a single person in order to appreciate what we had together. She said that she was hoping this would be temporary and that we could get back together once she had satisfied her curiosity about single life. I told her that relationships don't work that way. You can't just put someone on hold while you go explore other options and then expect them to be waiting for you when you decide you're ready to settle down. I said that if she walked away from our relationship, she was walking away from it permanently and that I wasn't going to be her backup plan while she played the field. Emma seemed surprised by my response. I think she had expected me to agree to some kind of break where we would both date other people and then eventually find our way back to each other. She kept saying that she loved me and that this wasn't about wanting to be with other people specifically, but about needing to experience independence and freedom. But I could see through her reasoning. Emma had been influenced by her single friends who were having exciting dating adventures, and she had convinced herself that she was missing out on something important by being in a committed relationship. She wanted to have her cake and eat it too, to experience the thrill of dating and single life while keeping me as a safety net to fall back on. I told Emma that if she was really committed to this decision, then she needed to move out immediately. I said that I wasn't going to live with someone who was actively planning to date other people, and that if she wanted to explore her options, she needed to do it on her own. Emma seemed shocked that I was being so definitive about the breakup. She asked if we could at least remain friends and keep in touch while she figured things out. I told her absolutely not. If she wanted to see what else was out there, then she was going to see it without any connection to me or our life together. Moving on. The next week was a nightmare. Emma moved her stuff out of our apartment and went to stay with one of her single friends who had been encouraging her to break up with me. I was left alone in the apartment that we had chosen together, surrounded by furniture we had picked out and memories of the life we had built. I spent the first few weeks alternating between rage and heartbreak. I couldn't believe that Emma had thrown away everything we had for some fantasy about what single life might be like. I kept expecting her to realize what a mistake she had made and come back. But weeks turned into months with no contact. Meanwhile, I heard through mutual friends that Emma was indeed exploring her options. She was dating regularly, going out to bars and clubs, and generally living the single life she thought she had been missing. Our friends told me that she seemed happy and excited about her newfound freedom, which hurt more than I can describe. I decided that I wasn't going to sit around moping and waiting for Emma to potentially come back. I threw myself into work, started going to the gym regularly, and began hanging out with friends more often. I also started going to therapy to work through my feelings about the breakup and to make sure I was processing everything in a healthy way. After about 3 months, I felt ready to start dating again. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but I wanted to prove to myself that I could move on and find happiness without Emma. I started going on dates through apps and meeting people through friends, and I was surprised to discover that dating was actually pretty fun when you weren't desperately looking for the one. Reddit comments. Okay, let's get to the comments that people have left on this story. Comment number 1, good for you for not waiting around. Your ex sounds like she had serious FOMO and grass is greener syndrome. She's going to realize what she lost eventually. Comment number 2, I've seen this story so many times. Girl gets bored, thinks the grass is greener, dumps good boyfriend to find herself, then comes crawling back when reality hits. Stand your ground, up. These comments are really spot on. The fact that she expected him to wait around as her backup plan shows how entitled and selfish her thinking really was. Update 1, a new connection. About 4 months after Emma moved out, I met someone who completely changed my perspective on dating and relationships. Her name was Sophia, and she was a 26-year-old graphic designer who had recently moved to our city for work. We met at a coffee shop where I was working on a freelance project, and we ended up talking for hours. Sophia was everything that Emma wasn't. She was confident, independent, and had a clear sense of who she was and what she wanted from life. She had traveled extensively, lived in multiple cities, and had a wide range of experiences that made her incredibly interesting to talk to. Most importantly, she wasn't looking for someone to complete her or to provide her with experiences she felt she had missed. She was looking for a partner to share new adventures with. Sophia and I started dating casually at first, but the connection was undeniable. She was intellectually curious, emotionally mature, and genuinely fun to be around. Unlike Emma, who had always seemed like she was looking for something she couldn't quite define, Sophia knew exactly what she wanted and wasn't afraid to go after it. What struck me most about dating Sophia was how easy and natural everything felt. There was no drama, no game playing, and no constant questioning about whether we were right for each other. Sophia had enough life experience to know what worked for her in relationships, and she communicated clearly about her needs and expectations. After about 2 months of dating, Sophia and I decided to make our relationship exclusive. I was honestly amazed at how quickly I had developed feelings for her, especially considering how devastated I had been about Emma just a few months earlier. Sophia made me realize that my relationship with Emma, while meaningful, had actually been holding me back from finding someone who was truly compatible with me. Meanwhile, I continued to hear updates about Emma through our mutual friends. Apparently, her single life adventure wasn't going as smoothly as she had hoped. She had gone through a series of disappointing dates and short-term relationships that never developed into anything meaningful. Several of our friends mentioned that she seemed frustrated and was starting to make comments about how hard it was to find quality guys to date. Around this time, Emma started trying to reconnect with me through social media. She began liking my posts and photos, and eventually she sent me a message saying that she missed our friendship and hoped we could at least talk sometime. I didn't respond to her message, but I could see that she was keeping tabs on my life and probably noticed that I seemed to be doing well without her. Emma's return. About 5 months after our breakup, I decided to take Sophia on a weekend trip to the mountains. We had been talking about how much we both loved hiking and outdoor activities, and I wanted to plan something special for us. Sophia was thrilled about the trip, and we spent weeks planning our itinerary and looking forward to our getaway. The weekend was absolutely perfect. Sophia and I hiked, explored small towns, and had amazing conversations about everything from our career goals to our travel bucket lists. I realized during that trip that I was falling in love with Sophia in a way that felt completely different from my relationship with Emma. This felt like a partnership between two complete individuals who chose to be together rather than two people who were together because they had grown up together. When we got back from our trip, I posted some photos on social media of Sophia and me hiking and enjoying our weekend together. We looked happy and relaxed, and the photos clearly showed that I was in a serious relationship with someone new. Within hours of posting those photos, I received a long text message from Emma. She said that seeing my photos had made her realize how much she missed me and our relationship. She wrote that she had made a terrible mistake in breaking up with me and that she had spent the past 5 months learning that what we had together was rare and special. Emma's message went on to say that her time being single had taught her to appreciate the stability and love that we had shared, and that she now understood that she had been taking our relationship for granted. She said that she had been thinking about me constantly and that none of the people she had dated could compare to the connection we had shared. She asked if we could meet for coffee to talk about the possibility of getting back together. She said that she was ready to commit fully to our relationship and that she had learned enough about herself and what she wanted to know that I was the right person for her. I was honestly amazed by the timing of Emma's message. It was clear that seeing me happy with someone else had triggered her desire to reconnect rather than any genuine self-reflection or growth on her part. I showed the message to Sophia, who laughed and said that Emma's timing was suspiciously convenient. I decided to respond to Emma's message, but not in the way she was hoping. I told her that I appreciated her reaching out, but that I had moved on and was in a committed relationship with someone else. I said that I wished her well, but that I wasn't interested in revisiting our past relationship. Emma's response was immediate and emotional. She called me crying and begging me to reconsider. She said that what we had was too special to throw away and that she was willing to do whatever it took to earn back my trust and love. She insisted that her feelings for me were real and that her time apart had only made her more certain that I was the person she wanted to be with. I told Emma that her timing made it clear that she was only interested in getting back together because she had seen that I was happy without her. I said that if she had genuinely missed me and wanted to reconcile, she would have reached out months earlier, not immediately after seeing photos of me with someone else. Emma tried to argue that she had been giving me space and waiting for the right time to reach out, but I wasn't buying it. I told her that she had made her choice when she decided that exploring other options was more important than our 5-year relationship, and that I had made my choice to move on and find someone who appreciated what I had to offer. Update 2: Persistent attempts. Emma didn't take my rejection well. Over the next few weeks, she launched a campaign to win me back that was both persistent and increasingly desperate. She started showing up at places where she knew I would be, including my gym, my favorite coffee shop, and even my office building. Each time Emma saw me, she would try to engage me in conversation about our relationship and her regrets about breaking up with me. She would tell me about specific things she missed about our life together and would reminisce about happy memories we had shared. She seemed genuinely convinced that if she could just remind me of the good times we had, I would realize that we belonged together. Emma also started reaching out to our mutual friends to try to get them to advocate for her. She told them that she had made a mistake and that she was hoping they could help her convince me to give our relationship another chance. Several of our friends approached me to say that Emma seemed genuinely remorseful and that maybe I should consider hearing her out. I appreciated that our friends cared about both of us, but I explained to them that Emma's regret didn't change the fundamental issue with her decision to break up with me. She had chosen to end our relationship not because she was unhappy with me, but because she wanted to see if she could find something better. The fact that her search had been unsuccessful didn't mean that she had suddenly developed a deeper appreciation for what we had shared. Sophia was incredibly supportive throughout this whole situation. She never pressured me to cut contact with Emma completely, but she also made it clear that she wasn't interested in being part of a love triangle or competing for my attention. Sophia's maturity and confidence in our relationship made me even more certain that I had made the right choice in moving on. About 2 months after Emma's initial attempt to reconcile, she escalated her efforts significantly. She started sending me letters and emails detailing everything she had learned about herself during our time apart and explaining why she was now ready to be the partner I deserved. These messages were long, emotional, and clearly took a lot of time and effort to write. In one particularly lengthy email, Emma described her dating experiences in detail and explained how each disappointing relationship had taught her something new about what she valued in a partner. She wrote about how no one she had met could match my kindness, intelligence, or sense of humor, and how she had realized that the excitement of meeting new people was shallow compared to the deep connection we had shared. Emma also acknowledged that her timing in reaching out was poor and that it probably looked like she was only interested in getting back together because she had seen me with someone else. She insisted that she had been thinking about contacting me for months, but had been afraid that I wouldn't want to hear from her. While I could see that Emma had put a lot of thought into her messages, I also noticed that they were still fundamentally self-centered. She focused on what she had learned and what she now wanted, rather than acknowledging the pain and disruption she had caused me by ending our relationship. She seemed to view our breakup as a learning experience for her rather than a betrayal of the commitment we had made to each other. I decided not to respond to Emma's emails and letters. I felt that engaging with her attempts to win me back would be unfair to Sophia and would also give Emma false hope that I might be willing to reconsider our relationship. When Emma realized that her written communication wasn't getting a response, she tried a different approach. She reached out to my family members, including my parents and my sister, to tell them how much she missed me and how sorry she was for the way things had ended between us. My family had always liked Emma, and they were sympathetic to her apparent remorse. My mother called me to say that Emma had contacted her and seemed genuinely heartbroken about our breakup. She suggested that maybe I should at least talk to Emma to get closure, even if I wasn't interested in getting back together. I explained to my family that while I appreciated their concern, Emma's decision to involve them in her campaign to win me back was inappropriate and manipulative. I told them that I had already given Emma a clear answer about my lack of interest in reconciling and that her continued attempts to contact me through other people showed that she wasn't respecting my boundaries. The final confrontation. Around this time, Sophia and I had been dating for about 6 months, and our relationship was getting more serious. We started talking about moving in together and making long-term plans for our future. Sophia had met my family and friends, and everyone loved her. She fit seamlessly into my life in a way that felt natural and effortless. When Emma found out that Sophia and I were planning to move in together, she made one final, desperate attempt to win me back. She showed up at my apartment late one evening, crying and begging me to reconsider our relationship before I made what she called a mistake that would ruin both of our lives. Emma told me that she had learned from her mistakes and that she was ready to be the committed, appreciative partner that I deserved. She said that she understood now that the grass wasn't greener on the other side and that what we had together was worth fighting for. She promised that if I gave her another chance, she would never take our relationship for granted again. I told Emma that I appreciated her apology, but that it was too late. I explained that I had moved on and found someone who had never needed to explore other options to appreciate what I had to offer. I said that Sophia valued our relationship from the beginning and didn't need to date other people to confirm that I was right for her. Emma broke down completely and accused me of being vindictive and unwilling to forgive. She said that I was throwing away years of history and love just to spite her for making one mistake. She claimed that Sophia was just a rebound relationship and that I would eventually realize that what we had was irreplaceable. I told Emma that her characterization of Sophia as a rebound was insulting and showed that she still didn't understand why I had moved on. I explained that Sophia wasn't a replacement for Emma. She was a completely different person who offered me a different kind of relationship based on mutual respect and genuine appreciation. I also told Emma that her one mistake wasn't a momentary lapse in judgment, but a deliberate decision to prioritize her curiosity about other people over our 5-year relationship. I said that someone who truly valued our relationship wouldn't have been willing to throw it away to see what else was available. Finally, I told Emma that she needed to stop contacting me and my family and friends. I said that her continued attempts to win me back were becoming harassment and that she needed to accept that our relationship was over and move on with her life. Update 3. Moving forward. After my final conversation with Emma, she finally seemed to accept that I wasn't going to change my mind about getting back together. She stopped trying to contact me directly and stopped reaching out to my family and friends. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she was struggling with depression and had started seeing a therapist to work through her feelings about our breakup. Part of me felt bad that Emma was having such a hard time, but I also felt that she needed to face the consequences of her choices. She had ended our relationship because she wanted to explore other options, and now she was learning that actions have consequences and that you can't always undo the damage you cause. Sophia and I moved in together about 8 months after we started dating. The process was completely different from when Emma and I had moved in together. With Emma, there had been a lot of anxiety and pressure about whether living together was the right step and what it meant for our future. With Sophia, it felt like a natural progression that we were both excited about. Living with Sophia has been amazing. We complement each other perfectly. She's organized where I'm more relaxed, I'm practical where she's creative. We both respect each other's need for independence while enjoying our time together. We've never had a fight about household responsibilities or personal space, and we genuinely enjoy each other's company even during mundane daily activities. About a year after our breakup, I heard that Emma had started dating someone new. According to our mutual friends, she seemed to be taking this new relationship much more slowly and was apparently being very cautious about not repeating the mistakes she had made with me. I was genuinely happy to hear that she was moving forward with her life and hoped that she had learned from our experience. Sophia and I got engaged last month after dating for a year and a half. When I proposed, it felt completely right and natural. There was no anxiety about whether we were making the right choice or whether we should explore other options first. We both knew that we had found something special together and we were excited to make a permanent commitment to each other. The proposal was everything I had imagined it would be with the right person. Sophia was surprised and thrilled, and we spent the evening talking about our plans for the future and how excited we were to spend our lives together. There was no doubt or hesitation from either of us, just pure joy and excitement about the next chapter of our lives. When I think back on my relationship with Emma, I realize that there were always underlying issues that I had chosen to ignore or minimize. Emma had always seemed slightly unsatisfied or restless. Even during our happiest times together, she was always looking ahead to the next milestone or achievement rather than enjoying what we had in the present moment. With Sophia, I feel like we're both fully present in our relationship and genuinely appreciate each other exactly as we are right now. We have plans and goals for the future, but we're not constantly searching for something better or wondering if we're missing out on other opportunities. I also realized that Emma's decision to break up with me was actually a gift, even though it didn't feel like it at the time. If she hadn't ended our relationship, I never would have met Sophia, and I never would have experienced what it feels like to be with someone who chooses me enthusiastically and without reservation. Final update, our wedding and future. Sophia and I got married 6 months ago, and our wedding was absolutely perfect. It was a celebration of our love and commitment, surrounded by family and friends who had supported our relationship from the beginning. Sophia looked stunning, and I couldn't believe how lucky I was to be marrying someone who was so perfect for me. The wedding planning process was enjoyable and stress-free because Sophia and I were both focused on creating a celebration that reflected our values and personalities. We made decisions together easily and never had any major disagreements about what we wanted. It was such a different experience from the conversations Emma and I used to have about our hypothetical future wedding, which were always filled with pressure and anxiety. I heard through a mutual friend that Emma found out about our engagement and wedding through social media. Apparently, she had a difficult time seeing the photos and realizing that I had moved on completely. According to our friend, Emma made some comments about how quickly I had gotten engaged and married, implying that I was rushing into marriage to spite her. This reaction confirmed what I had always suspected about Emma's motivations for trying to get back together with me. She wasn't genuinely interested in rebuilding our relationship based on love and compatibility. She was motivated by competitiveness and the fear that I would find happiness without her. Sophia and I have now been married for 6 months, and our relationship continues to be everything I could have hoped for. We're planning to start trying for a family next year, and we're both excited about building a life together.